Hello, you loveaholics. How are you? Today I'm going to talk about your and my moral compass and what that's all about. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So there's a gentleman called Charlie Ward who has been fundamental in the truth movement, you might call it. And I used to watch a lot of what Charlie Ward used to talk about. And then as we evolve, as we become different people, then we move on. And I moved on from what Charlie Ward had to say. But I've got to say that when times were tough, and there were tough times, he helped me through those. Because he was always positive, he was always saying it was going to be okay, and in that, he was right. Yeah, he was right. But he did say other things that weren't quite as true, but there you are. Who didn't? We all make mistakes. But one thing that Charlie Ward talks about is the moral compass, okay? The moral compass. And it almost becomes cliche, you've got to follow your moral compass. The reason I'm bringing this up is that whilst I was talking with the emissaries, I basically what's happened is, you notice I'm wearing a jacket. It's snowing. That's why I'm wearing a jacket. It's snowing outside. And anyway, I went out. It was slashing down. I went out for a run. It had been slashing down. It wasn't slashing down then. And the countryside was awash. Rivers everywhere where rivers don't normally exist. And so what happened was I had to take a different route, okay? And because I took a different route, I forgot to talk to the emissaries. Because I always hit a certain spot and I go, this is where I talk to the emissaries. And, we all like routines, don't we? So I forgot. And I was running. I thought, I haven't talked to the emissaries. So I started talking to them. And they said, did you get off track? And I said, yes, absolutely. I got off track. And obviously the emissaries don't say anything. They were having a little bit of a laugh, but they don't say anything for no reason whatsoever. And so I said to them, is it common for us to get off track? For humankind, is it part of the experience? And they said, absolutely, constantly. And they reminded me, of the plane. An aeroplane is 90% of the time off track, and it's constantly adjusting. Micro adjustments, because it just flies kind of, in one direction, except for the ones that leave lines in the sky, because they don't make micro adjustments. Lately, it never used to be, I've got to say, never was that way. They were very straight, very conformist in what, just doing, and they were never flying together. And then over time, they've become extremely blasé. They don't give a shit what people think anymore. And so that, I've seen them here, 3 or 4, all flying in the same, right next to each other, like this. Yeah, and then just going bending around and doing all kinds of weird stuff. So yeah, anyway, getting back to the point. A normal plane that isn't doing that kind of thing is constantly making adjustments because it's constantly off track, just like what we are. And the emissary said, and so that's why we need our moral compass to show us where we have to head. And I asked them, do our moral compasses sometimes take us in the wrong direction? I think I know the answer to that. And they said, yes, of course they do. And they said the moral compass, when it is being influenced by, these were their words, 3D desire. They said then it can lead us off into the wrong places. And our work is to get rid of that 3D desire, to rise above it, to understand that it leads nowhere good. Remember what the dark, what the bad, call it what you will. The only thing it can offer is 3D desire. That's what it's always offered. Power, position, and money. Kudos. The opinion of others. And it's never changed. It's always been the same. It's only ever offered power and money. Why? Because it works. It works like a charm, because that gets a hold of our ego and it massages it, and off we go in the wrong direction. And so that's why our job is to see through that and see. And I remember being there and thinking that some things were very, very important in my life, and now I realize that they were not important at all. Nice to have, but not need to have. I think there are some things in our life that we need to have, like faith and purpose and the attitude of wanting to help people. That's what we need to have. And all the rest is nice. I mean, it's nice to have a nice home around you. It's nice to have things. It's okay. It's not bad. We didn't come here to live as paupers. We came here to enjoy this 3D dimension. So that leads me to the other question I asked the emissaries, which was, does everybody's moral compass point in the same direction? And they said, no, it doesn't. And this is the big issue that we have. The big issue that we have, it's the next step. After we've gotten rid of the worldly 3D desires, then we want everybody to know what we know, think what we know, and go in the same direction as us. Yeah. Just part of the, I know this to be true, and therefore if it's true for me, it must be true for you. And the emissary said, absolutely not. Everybody's moral compass points in a different direction. Do we have collective morals? Absolutely we do. Absolutely. But in terms of being true to yourself and doing what you're supposed to do, your compass is only heading in your direction. And so they said that this is why it's very difficult to gain consensus, even amongst, look at the awakened world, right? Try and get a consensus. Holy cow, it's difficult. When you go into the details, when you rise above the details, I think we're all in agreement. I think it's very easy to get consensus when you look at very high level agreements, which is this world is being run by a bunch of bastards and it's time for that to end. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. It doesn't matter whether they're spiritual, whether they're earthbound, it doesn't matter. If you're awake, you know that this world is being run by a bunch of dirty, low-life, stinking, monkey bastards. That apart, when you get into the details, everybody's compass is going, no, over here, over there, over wherever. And so the emissary said that what we have to do is we have to understand that people are not going to go in the direction that we want to go. And that's okay. And so they said, the only thing that we need to do is to admire and respect people when we see that they are following their true moral compass. We can look at people and we know that they're not being true to themselves, when they're being fake. And we can look at ourselves and we know when we're not being true to ourselves, when we are being fake. But when we are being true, they're being true, but we're going in completely different directions. Beautiful. Beautiful. Bless them. Literally. Bless them. Give them your blessing. Knowing that in turn they'll give you their blessing so that you can follow your path, your compass. The question is, where's your compass pointing to? Do you know? Have you got a clear picture about where it is that you're going? Sometimes I have, and sometimes I haven't. Sometimes I think, where am I going? And I'll tell you something else that's been affecting me lately is this inability that I have now to join things up. Like, how can I describe it? I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it because I don't know quite what it is. It's just something that's of late. And I'd like to know if you're feeling this. There's so much happening, so much going on. And not just outside, but in, like, when I look at my life, it's because I've been here a long time, I suppose. But there's just so much that went on. And it's difficult for me to even start to put it into the right places. It's like this. I feel a bit overwhelmed with so much that's happening and so much that's happened and everything. And the only thing that I can do is just focus on now and think, right, what am I doing now? What am I doing? I suppose that's all that's the best that we can do, is just focus on now, because things are changing so much. And in the next video, I'm going to tell you something that the emissary shared with me, which was wowzer for me, wowzer. But things are changing so much that it's very difficult to try and find that concordance in your life and the life of everybody else and in the world around us. It's mad as fuck. So there you are. Where's your moral compass? Get it out, shine it up, make sure that it's not close to things that can affect it. The closer we get to that power and privilege and money, it's a magnet that turns away the needle, turns the needle to the wrong direction. There we are. So I'd like to know your comments. Are you clear on your moral compass? Do you know where it's pointed? And if it is, where? What would... Do this for me in the comments. Give me like one word that would describe where your moral compass, or not one word, but one little phrase that would describe where your moral compass is pointing. That'd be really interesting. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.